Posted by you/throwaway electrical ba. Throwaway account due to the situation, but I need to know because I'm getting calls and texts from family accusing me of being a monster for not being on my daughter's side. My husband and I have been married for a little over 5 years now. I will say my daughter, 19F, and he have an okay relationship, not exactly a father-daughter bond, but more of an advice asked and given type of relationship. I have never noticed anything weird from my husband toward my daughter, and my daughter has never said or insinuated anything either. On Thursday, my husband and I were watching a movie in the living room. We paused the movie when he got up to use the bathroom. I heard him knock on the door twice, literally 3 knocks each time, a couple of seconds apart. It was loud enough for me to hear it from the living room. The next moment, I heard screaming. I rushed to the bathroom and saw my daughter completely exposed, covering herself and yelling at my husband to get out. I didn't see everything that happened, but after the yelling, I saw my husband literally stumble over his own feet and struggle to close the bathroom door. I asked him what happened, and he said he knocked, but nobody answered, so he went in. My daughter was standing in front of the mirror, and he tried to get out immediately. After my daughter calmed down, I asked for her side of the story. She said she was changing when my husband suddenly walked into the bathroom. I asked why she didn't answer when he knocked, and she said he didn't knock. I told her I was sure he knocked because I had heard it. She then admitted she didn't hear it because she had her AirPods in and was listening to music. We sorted the situation out, and my husband apologized to her, explaining that he thought the bathroom was empty. She even gave him a hug and apologized for yelling at him. The problem now is that my daughter involved family members, and they are calling my husband a creep. I got a call from my sister, who berated me for still having my husband in the house. I asked what she meant, and it came out that my daughter had spun a whole different story. She left out the fact that she was listening to music with her AirPods in and told everyone that she answered him, yet he still walked into the bathroom to look at her. We have cameras in our hallway that show my husband knocking, though they don't have audio. I sat my daughter down and asked her about this. She denied saying anything like that or spreading lies. I got mad and asked how her aunt could know what happened. She went silent and then said she talked to her niece about it, and her niece must have told her mother. I asked why she lied and made my husband look bad when he did nothing wrong. She denied lying but eventually admitted that she had been talking and making up scenarios with her niece. The whole day yesterday, I got calls and texts from family members as the false story spread, and my husband started looking like a creep to everyone. I sat my daughter down again and made her read some of the things being said about my husband. I told her she had to fix this because her lies caused it. She refused, saying she didn't spread the story herself, only told her niece, and didn't want to speak up because people would think badly of her. She said the family knows my husband, and it would blow over. Everything escalated when my husband walked into the living room with his bags packed, saying he was going to stay with his parents for a while because he didn't want to be in a situation where he was made out to be that kind of person. My daughter broke down, apologizing repeatedly, and said she would fix it, but my husband still left. I told her that if I get divorced because of her lies, she will be moving out of my house. I told her she must fix what she did and tell everyone the truth because I will not lose a man who loves and cares for me over lies. She asked me to help her, but I told her no, she isn't a child anymore, and her lies for attention caused this. This is on her. I've already tried, but now I'm being accused of taking my husband's side and not providing a safe space for my daughter. I don't know what to do. My husband has asked for space, my daughter is inconsolable, and I'm not in the best state myself. Sorry if my post is all over the place. I've reread it multiple times, and it still doesn't make sense to me. Update 8 days later. Sorry for only updating now, but I'm not in the best of places at the moment, and it has taken me a couple of days to get my thoughts together. I don't know what to do anymore. My husband has asked for a divorce. First, let me answer a couple of questions I saw coming up repeatedly. We have locks on every door in the house. I don't know why my daughter didn't use the lock on her door. The cameras inside the house aren't pointed at any door except for the ones aimed at the front door and the back door. The other camera is at the end of the hall, and you can see every door in the hallway from that camera. We have a bathroom in our room, but we can't use it at the moment. The water is completely shut off due to the bathroom renovation. My husband has asked for a divorce. On Friday, he came back home and asked to talk. During our talk, he showed me his phone, and some of the things my family members were saying about him were just outright horrible, calling him a PDF file, asking him how many times he had taken a peek before. I don't recognize my family anymore. I would understand if he actually did something, but he hasn't, and the hatred they are showing over a stupid mistake tells me they refuse to listen, or they've hated him from the start and are now using this to try and get rid of him. He said he can't ever come back, and this has now started to affect his work life as well. He was called into HR to explain because some of my family members called his office. Luckily, they haven't done anything and refused to do anything until a case is brought against him. They know my husband very well, and I think they believe him as well because he's still working. During our talk, he explained that he does love me and still does, and he is happy I stood up for him. But my daughter's actions have caused too many problems, accusations, and made him scared. He explained he sat at the office and at his parents' home every day just waiting for the police to show up and arrest him. He said her lies broke him, and he can't see a way to come back from it. I asked him to reconsider and said maybe we could go for counseling, but he also refused, saying everything is too broken to fix. I told him I would kick out my daughter and told him about everything I did and told my daughter to do, but he said I'm missing the point. His life could have been completely ruined because of a lie. My family will never trust him again and will always harbor hatred or suspicions about him, especially now that my daughter wants to clear things up so long afterward. They will think we forced her to do it, and that will just make things worse. He said he will always remain the creep in their eyes. I asked him what if I cut off my family and we moved away, as I was already working on that. I showed him my phone and the messages I've sent to every single person so far who refused to listen and that I blocked them. He asked, "What about your daughter?" I told him again I would be kicking her out, and she would be staying with my parents from now on. He asked, "What if we moved away, would you abandon your daughter then?" Because he doesn't want to be near her or alone with her at all. I didn't know what to say about that. Before I could answer, he said again, "It's better for us to get divorced. I will never ask you to abandon your daughter. I will never expect you to do something like that, but I don't want her anywhere near me. If you abandon your daughter, I don't know if I could ever look at you the same afterward, even if it was for my sake. The only solution here is for us to get divorced." My daughter came running down the hallway into the living room, crying. I think she was listening to our conversation. Before she could get a word out, my husband jumped up from the couch, put his hands out, and asked her not to get near him. He said, "Before you say anything, I will start to record the conversation now," and took out his phone. I think I saw something break in my daughter's eyes at that moment, as the realization of everything hit her all at once. She asked my husband to forgive her and said she never meant for things to get so out of hand. She said she was just making up scenarios with her cousin, and her cousin was the one who ran with it. My husband asked her why she didn't clear it up immediately then. She said she didn't think it would go this far and thought it would just blow over because everyone knows him. He showed her his phone and asked her to read some of the messages, and my daughter went completely silent. We talked for about 4 hours. At the end, my husband said he would give us 3 months to move out of the house because it's his house. My daughter can keep the car because it was a gift, and he will finish paying this year's tuition but will not pay anything going forward. He said he hasn't gotten a lawyer yet but told me to get one. He said he'd like to do this without lawyers, but if I want to, I can get one. He said he would be fair in the divorce and doesn't harbor anything against me, but he can't stay in the relationship. My daughter was just sitting on the floor, looking like a ghost, and I couldn't say anything, just listen to him talk about divorce and what will be split and whatnot like it was nothing. He was talking like the last 5 years were nothing, and it was just easy to move on. The best way to describe it was like he was returning something to a store. He left the house, and I just sat on the couch. I don't know if I was crying, talking, or what. I can't remember much as everything was muffled around me until my daughter started full-on crying, saying, "Sorry, sorry, sorry," over and over again, lying on the floor. I don't know how long I sat on the couch, but when I got up, I saw my husband's car still in the driveway. I looked out of the window, and I could see him full-on crying in the car. Seeing that completely broke me. My daughter and I haven't talked since my husband was here Friday, not a word to each other. My family members have shown up at the house to apologize because apparently, my daughter has all of a sudden cleared everything up, and she herself shared the video from the camera with the family members. Every time they show up, I just close the door in their faces. I've gotten Facebook, Instagram, calls, and texts from them, and when I block them, they keep making new accounts or use different numbers. I don't want to lose my husband. I really don't. This is the first man I've ever met who has actually treated me with kindness, respect, and love, and now it's all over. I have tried to talk to him and tried to convince him to go to counseling with me, but every time I've tried, he sends back, I can't take the risk. I have tried to meet him in person, but he just says it won't be a good idea. I have gone over to his parents' house, but they refuse to let me see him. I have gone to his work to talk to him, but I was told he was sent home by his boss. I truly don't know how to fix this. Having my daughter move out now won't work because I need to be out of the house as well. I don't want anything from my husband, I just want him. I haven't talked to a lawyer yet, but I don't think I can keep the house. He owned it before we moved in. I really want to fix this. I still want to kick my daughter out of the house, but will he still give me a chance to fix it even after what my husband said about me abandoning my daughter and not seeing me the same afterward? I don't know anyone. Am I really going to lose a wonderful man? Edit. I forgot how Reddit fixates on one thing. The comment about the house I made, I have no intentions of trying to take his house or anything like that. It's not my house. I had questions in my previous post about the house, and I think I just answered it. I'm not going to try and take his house. He owns it and has owned it since before we got together. I have no right to the house and will not try to take it. I hope this clears it up.